Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. It's your girl Jazz, and as promised, I am doing a comparison video between all three of the Torras neck fans. So we've got all three of them here. This is L2. Wait, no, let me double check. Sorry, this one's L2 right here. I know it because it's a smooth surface on the outside. This one's L3. And then this is the Coolify. So right off the bat, what's the difference between the three? The one factor that determines whether, for the most part, whether I get something or not, and that's going to be cost. Depending on what source that you use, whether it's the torraslife.com directly or Amazon, my favorite. I'm quoting Amazon just because it's the most compatible with, or the universal, seems like nowadays, shopping center that most people use. And, you know, if you don't like it, you can easily return it without any trouble. So right off the bat, we're looking at a range of $55 to $150. I actually glimpsed at Amazon right before I started this, and the L2 is running to about $55, give or take, with a 5% discount. The L3, which is this one right here, and has already gotten dirty, I don't know how, $90. And Coolify, which I think this might actually be one of the most expensive neck fans that I've seen, at $150. Now, keep in mind, Amazon always has discounts depending on who the seller is and such. I believe that the L2 and L3 had a discount of maybe 5% coupon that they had on site. I'm going to go ahead and turn them all on. One of the things that they are advertised as is being bladeless fans that you don't have to worry about your hair getting stuck into, especially if you have longer hair such as myself. That right there has been debunked. My hair has gotten caught into, I believe, all three of these. Now, it didn't pull and yank my hair, but my hair, I did hear it getting kind of caught into the vents. So that's strike one. All three of these had my hair stuck in there. So I'm putting them all on their highest setting. Oh, and here's Monger. He slid off my leg. So I currently have all three of the fans in order from the cheapest to the most expensive. All three of them set on level 3. Surprisingly enough, and again, this is just me having my hand over the vents to feel the airflow, L2 actually seems like it's stronger than L3, which is kind of surprising, considering the fact that L2 costs more than L3. Or L3 costs more than L2. From what I can tell, the cheapest one seems to be blowing out the coolest air, or the strongest air, should I say. But they're all supposed to be about the same wind speed, from my understanding, from what I've read online. L3, but right off the bat, this one's going to be eliminated primarily because these other two blow significantly stronger. So we're going to go actually compare the cheapest one to the most expensive. L3 has been eliminated. We're looking at comparing about $50, $55 to $150. L2 is significantly lighter than the Coolify version. I do like, and this is also true for L2, which has been eliminated, you're able to turn it and maneuver it significantly better than the Coolify. The Coolify just opens and closes. You can't twist it or anything like that unless, of course, you want to break it. But part of the reason why that is because it has this little cooling plate right here. And I initially started the review before I went outside to test them out. Each of these fans have been outside and tested individually. Laid out, and it's kind of too dark to record outside, so that's part of the reason why I'm just doing a flat out comparison indoors. When I went outside, I realized, you know, I thought this is supposed to be a cooling part of it, just having it, you know, just turning it on. But there's actually another step to it. And you're going to hear a beep. So hold on a second. So that beeping sound that you heard is actually activating the cooling plate. And that's going to justify the price of $150. Now, do I think it's worth the $150? The main reason why I say that is because it's just cooling off your neck. Which, don't get me wrong, especially if you're having longer hair like I do, your neck is going to get hot. And this gets pretty cold right here. But you have to counteract the heat from here. So that you do wear your hair down while you're wearing this. I'd be kind of afraid to be honest. Just because the longer that you have it running, this is going to stay cool, yes, but this is also going to get warmer. And I'm pretty much the complete opposite. So you're going to have it freezing cold here, and I put that in quotations, to burning up here. And then if you're outside, you're going to have the sun heating onto it as well. I don't see it working that well long term, or at least comfortably. So that's one of the downsides about the Coolify. Yes, I can justify the $150 price because, for one, it's built significantly nicer. It has some weight to it, but not too heavy to where it's uncomfortable while you're wearing it. And the weight is going to be justified, you know, because of the more solid build to get that cooling plate. In all honesty, I'm a pretty cheap person, so I want the device that's going to keep me the coolest and for the most cheap. So realistically, and this is actually kind of weird for me to say this, but I would actually prefer the L2 over the Coolify or the L3. And part of that is because, for one, 50 bucks, still a bit pricey for me. All three of these devices take about 2.5 hours to charge, from being completely no life to having a full charge. And they also run, give or take, of course, the setting that you have it on, about 8 hours. And that's for each of the devices. So outside of that, you really can't justify increasing the price because pretty much they're going to be the same, in my opinion. You might get a little bit stronger of a fan. Like on the Coolify, you get the cooling plate, but that's only going to do so much. Great, my neck's nice and cold, but what about the rest of my, my head, as I'm sweating down? That's the only place that's going to stay cool, is the back of your neck. Not unless you're carrying something on top of it, which I still wouldn't suggest. That's the only advantage to the Coolify, is this plate right here that's going to keep your neck cold. Not even cool, it's going to keep it cold. I was outside in 98 degrees earlier today, and I mean, the sun wasn't standing right over my head just cooking me. I had it setting in the background. Really pretty outside, by the way. And even outside with my hair down, after I took off this device, I'd say a good 10 minutes later, my neck was still, that one spot that I was touching was nice and cold still. If you are wanting just this little plate right here, I could justify the $150. But for me, I want to be cool all around, not just one little spot. And that's part of the reason why I would go for the L2 versus the L3 or the Coolify. For one, cheaper price. Yeah, it's made a little bit cheaper. But if the fan speed's just about the same for the $150 one, and the only advantage is that cooling plate, I can't justify paying $150 or even $90 for the L3. That's just my personal opinion. So I'll stick to the cheap one. But if they do make a Coolify that cools the air that's blowing out from you on the side, probably about $500, give or take. I can see that happening. Then I'd be able to justify the high price, but otherwise I can't, just for this little cooling plate right here. And after I turned it off, it turned pretty warm pretty quick. So I really can't justify that $150 cost. I'd rather go get Thoughtfuls with that money. with my $50 net, I got my $50, wait, hold on, which one is it? This one. I got a $50 neck fan, I got an extra $100 to go spend on tacos. I'm happy. And give me some watermelon, I'm good. But that's just me. I can easily see people justifying the $150 one, but it's only one spot, not really worth it. Especially since the air that's blowing out on the side is still warm air. Yeah, if it blew cool air, I can see why it's a wearable AC unit, but otherwise no. Just my 2 cents. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. L2, you're my winner for this one. Also, make sure that you subscribe. I'll be doing a comparison between the L2, which is the winner of the Torras neck fans, with the Arctic Air Freedom. So make sure that you subscribe. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down. Hopefully I'll get to the questions before I do the comparison. All right, guys, thanks for checking me out. In the meantime, stay tuned, stay jazzy. Thanks for watching, guys.